Probably should advertise this on all the things to advertise it on. But I am live. Hopefully. I'm actually popping up the chat now to see if it actually comes up. I don't think you guys can see anything. Probably just the intro screen, right? Live streaming. If you got someone you need to know, let them know. Otherwise, we're just going to do this thing. There we are. There's chat. Hi. How are you? Let me let Discord know, and then we will be... you have amazing background noise. I really... oh, I make amazing background noise. Well, that's good. That's kind of what I hope this channel to be. Alright, so Natalie already got me on the Rev chord. So let me get everyone on the art chord. Doing another art stream. If y'all wanna drop by for the quickie. Alright, cool. It's gonna be a quick stream. It's not gonna be a very long one. And I hope that's okay with everyone involved. Tilda gets off work at 8, and it is currently 7:28. Theoretically, she will take a little while to get home, so I think I can finish off this painting, and then maybe we can do another one. The part of the reason that I'm doing this today is because I actually redid the math that I was talking about yesterday, and found out that I'm just dumb. I really misdid the math there. I believe I actually need to do about 12 streams rather than, I don't know what I said last time, like 30 or 40. And so that is much more manageable. I could do 12 streams between now and October. So we're going to do that. So let's start with the old jam. There it is. Alright, cool. Alright, let me give you a good screen region so you guys can actually see what's going on. Alright. I actually matched my painting today. I didn't even intentionally do that. Going to be a very different stream than the one we just had. Alright, so I think I figured out one issue I've got with this. So maybe we won't be able to do this in time, but one issue I have with this painting is I need to have a cool blue background rather than black. So we're going to try and work that in. I apologize if the audio quality is a little like everywhere right now. But, you know, that's how it goes. Let me flip open my drawing. There we go. Well, I'm glad you like him. Alright, so that's a little bit off. Should be a little easier to fix it now that it's dry. And then this needs a little bit of work. So I'm going to go over it with white again. I definitely need to write more music. I might try and do a stream where I write music. No, it's not like really what this channel's for. I mean, I guess music is art as well. It's just not my strong suit. So it's probably going to be a lot of trial and error and a lot of boring stuff. Trying to figure stuff out. Because I kind of wrote this song randomly. If you listen to like the progression, it's all in the same key, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's an unconventional song structure. Just peeking? The audio is peaking, or you're just peeking in? Alright, so that's right about good there. That should be fine. So, if I did my math right the second time now, I just need to do a art stream every like 2 a week until October, and that is manageable. And especially if I go straight from like a really high energy stream into a chill stream, I can probably, you know, have this workflow down pretty good. You know, obviously there are going to be days where I can't stream, and it requires like a 3-hour stream schedule, which with Herman is maybe not as viable, because right now he has to be in his crib, and is the mic off or something? Nah, I'm just super far away from the mic. Let me try bringing the audio down for the music. The problem is that like every time I move away from the mic, it cuts out the audio a little bit. Like it's hard to hear it. So let's see. And then the blue goes there. That's pretty good. And then that blue needs to go up there, and that is good there. That's pretty good there. Yeah, I definitely need to write another song. Cats in the cradle, for sure, yeah. Cradle is probably a better word for it, just for the sake of being able to use that meme. So I'll worry about the background being turned a cool blue in a minute. I know, but I also want to chase my dreams, and so that means that, you know, Herman's gonna have to be put up in his crib every now and then. He buys him toys and stuff. He was good. We took him to the vet today. I'll tell you, like, he is a trooper. Like, they put some Cheese Whiz down for him, and they were inspecting. He didn't even care. He was just like, whatever, I got Cheese Whiz. Things are great. They even gave him a shot, right? They gave him a shot while he was eating Cheese Whiz. He didn't even flinch. I'm like, you're harder core than me, kiddo. Like, dude. That's intense. Like, he didn't even flinch. He's like, listen, as long as I got Cheese Whiz, I'm cool. And that's how I know he's my son. You know? My cat son, as it is. Now, is it like that? It goes like at an angle here, and then here, and then it's flat for a bit. That's not the right blue, but I just want to like sculpt out the white area. It actually needs to be whiter than that, but generally speaking, like that. I went with the punk rock Bob Ross because that's something that some anon on Tumblr sent me once. It's like it's like the best compliment that I've ever gotten. Metal Bob Ross works as well. I'm more of a metalhead than I am a punk. I don't know enough about punk music. Really don't listen to a whole lot of it. I've been in bands, but that's just because it was like that was the intersection where I liked thrash metal and they liked punk music, and so it was like this was an okay that thrash and punk have a lot to do with each other because thrash is sort of an evolution in a way of punk music in a lot of ways. It's very similar in what it's trying to achieve and what it talks about, and so someone who's into thrash is probably also into punk, and a lot of punk music I can just sit down and listen to it and not be an issue. Depends on how poppy it is, but I mean, that's everything. I gave my hot take about Toto the other day. Read somewhere that the reason punk music exists is because of Africa by Toto. I don't know how true that is. I don't think Africa's a bad song. I just don't think it's that great. Also, hey Toxic, how you doing? I might try and do this setup for the next little bit, where I do a ArtCade stream as like a cooldown after a regular stream. And that should work out pretty nicely, because it's like, then I just block out like 3 hours or so rather than 2 in my life, and we're solid. Which means more streams for you guys, more content for you guys. Alright, so where is his nose? Right here? I want to say? Let me get like a little bit of blue just going. Well, let's clear that one off and get another one. This a little bit littler one. It's a good idea. I think it should be a little bit easier. And it provides a certain like level of variety, and I think you guys could probably schedule around that. And plus it allows people on After Hours to know that this channel exists, you know? Pushing that this channel exists is one of the main things that I'm going to have to do, I think. I think people are aware of it, but it may not be the content they want. I think the people who just watched the stream I just did would probably not be a huge fan of this, because it's a different vibe. It's much more chill here. Okay, that's not the right blue at all, but we're gonna make it work. We'll make it work in the end. Also, this brush is just like super dried out. A lot of my brushes are, because I just don't treat them right. Anyway, what do we talk about? Tilda was saying that she went to, well, she went to the store for us, because, after Herman got his shot, he was a little bit woozy. He's gonna be a little bit woozy today, and she just wanted to really make sure that, like, he was taken care of, rather than getting the extra assistance at the store, which is fine. Whatever. We gotta look after the kid. And he was fine. He's doing great. But she was saying that the checker, the reason it took so long, because she was in line for like 15-30 minutes. Apparently the reason it took so long was that the cashier was super high on who knows what. But Tilda bought some Twizzlers. This is how she knows. She bought some Twizzlers and was like, you know, it was going down the thing, and the woman goes, "Oh, I have a Twizzler too." And then, like, stopped the transaction to go find her Twizzler in her jacket. Just like a single one, not like a full package, but just like a single solitary unwrapped Twizzler just hanging out in her pocket of her coat. Which, it's also summer in Texas. Why did she have a coat? I just realized that. So, Tilda experiencing the true gremlins of Austin. And sure enough, she did actually have a, some Twizzlers in her, or one Twizzler in her pocket. So in my original drawing, I've got like a darker line going all the way under his chin. Or her chin, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a her. The mannequin this is based on is, I think, was a woman. It was in the women's section. So that would make sense. I'm gonna see if I can cheat by mixing blue with black and see if that actually comes out as a cool color, or if that's just garbage. Might just be garbage. We'll see. That just annihilates that blue, doesn't it? That's not so bad, but it's so dead, you know? It's a little bit more enjoyable than the just straight black, though. It's like a cooler black. I think I'm gonna have to actually bust out the burnt umber and mix it like that instead. I don't think it shows up any differently on your screen. Nothing beats a half-eaten Twizzler that's been hanging out in your coat pocket all day. I mean, like, if there's, like, really... If the AC's, like, really cold, I get that. Like, that makes sense. It's just, like... It's a weird thing for her to have, like, a Twizzler in her pocket, and for it to be worth stopping the transaction over. Okay, I think this is just... Okay, that's slightly darker. That's fine. Hey, Robin, how you doing? Alright. So now, this is like way too dark, but I'm just going to sculpt in where that nose is. We'll lighten it up later. I just want to make sure I got it in the right spot. And then I actually have like a line on there for some reason in my sketch. I'm not really sure what I was doing, but it looks nice, so I'll repeat it here. Maybe a little bit of the cobalt again, just to bring this down a bit. Make it a little less, that. We're gonna have to come back in with the white and kind of... I really hope that that's what this stream turns into, Robin. At least for the American viewers. For the Euro bros, it's probably so late in the day that this is maybe something better to just fall asleep to. Or stay up and do art. I don't know. I used to, like, stay up, like, hours when I was younger. And didn't have social responsibilities that I had to worry about. Just doing art and listening to trance music, because that was my life as a teenager. Up until I discovered metal. And then it was like, oh, it's on. If I did a stream where I was writing a new song, would you guys be interested? It's mostly messing around in Fruity Loops and doing random things until it works. I'm a very impatient writer. If it doesn't switch, like, stuff fairly constantly, I get frustrated. That's why, like, here we got, like, a slow, like, ear infection sort of thing going on. You'd be interested? You'd be interested. Okay. I might have to do that then, because that's going to be a huge time commitment, and I don't know, maybe someone in chat can actually, like, tell me how to do things right. I was going to say, I thought all the hairs burned off on my brush, but it was just the wrong brush. you guys could help me, because I honestly don't know what I'm doing. Because I wrote this other song, and I feel like I could maybe fix it. I could play it for you guys. I've played it on stream before, but it's just, like, not quite there. Music isn't really my talent. I never really, like... I don't know, it's one of those things that I could probably get good at if I actually tried. I mean, like, I wrote this song. It's a little bit more legitimate, but, it's still a little bit of a trash song. It's meant to be calm and not really interesting, because that's the thing about the music for this channel, is it needs to be there, but not so much that you actually pay too much attention to it. I mean, I'm explicitly referencing it now, so now you're paying attention to it, but it really needs to be kind of boring and kind of monotonous. In order to keep the song from sounding too monotonous, it switches so often. And I think monotonous is actually what I need to aim for with this. You know what I mean? Like, I need to not care if it's monotonous. It needs to be more atmospheric, but not an atmospheric song. You know what I mean? That works really well. Twitch writes a song. Let me play the other one. That would be some Kevin MacLeod popping up. See, this one's okay. It's got like the bits that you'd want from a song, but it's just, it needs a little bit of love. It's maybe a little bit too simple. See, I think the drums are a little sudden. But they need to come in so that way they can go away. And then the slow ear infection thing goes on. I think it's just that piano is super pretty, is why this song works to any degree whatsoever. But the reason I started writing music for this channel is because then I don't have to worry about copyright strikes. Like, if there's a copyright claim on this channel, it's illegitimate. Just straight up. Because I did everything, you know? But the problem with that is that I have to do everything. And yeah, I could hire someone to do it, but then maybe they turncoat on me. I'm sure you could do something like that, Aiden. I don't know how. I'm too dumb to know how to do programming. But someone could probably make Twitch plays music. It'd probably just be awful for the most part. We're gonna have to bring this blue that's kind of around it. And then here, this change up is way too, like, I don't know. It kind of comes out of nowhere. And then that's the song, I guess. I feel like there's supposed to be a change up there. Let me play the next thing. This is just, from here on out, it's Kevin MacLeod. Concentration. Should follow us out to the end here, but I like the meander feeling of the first song as well. And I could probably do something like this that I mean, obviously not as good as this guy, because this guy actually knows what he's doing. It's really hard to write songs that you're not supposed to pay a whole lot of attention to, I've found. Like, for me, whenever I've written an actual song, it's always been, you know, let's be in your face and loud and fast and strong, and you hear it and you can't not have reaction to it. But that's not the point of that, you know? It's like more interesting than atmospheric, but less interesting than... I guess that... Is that what shoegaze is? Mozart will get you claimed because SoundCloud rappers upload their music to YouTube and they copyright claim it. And they'll use some Mozart or whatever. So rather than worry about it, I just don't. I've got stuff like Dense Macabre and stuff that I thought about using for the Halloween special. But it's just like too much of a banger. It's too intense of a song. And it's one of the few classical songs that... Basically, in order for it to not get claimed, I'd have to play it myself, and I'm not actually that talented when it comes to, like, piano. I only know how to play guitar, and even still not that well. A little bit of violin, but not enough to actually be, like, good. Like, it would sound like a mess, and so I'm not gonna... The nice thing about Fruity Loops is that I don't have to know how to play. Not to diss everyone and anyone who's ever used Fruity Loops, but you really don't know how... Like, you don't have to know how to play an instrument to make a coherent song. Yeah, but the whole idea is that I want to, like... I don't know. If it's me and me alone doing it, then I know that any and all copyright claims are illegitimate. And that they can't, you know, force me out of it. You know what I mean? I think I might try and do something like this song. What if we all collaborate on a song? I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's like... Then I'd have to worry about crediting people and not just doing it on my own. But I feel like I could make something like this. Because if I was like talking about like art theory or whatever over a song like this, it'd probably be fine. And I don't think anyone would care, right? But you're not gonna like sit in your car, boost the bass, and then just start listening to this, you know? Like, it's just sort of here. Did I start the camera? Okay, I did. Good. Thank God. Oh. That's my biggest worry, is that I'll forget to start the camera. I have ADD, and I'm kind of forgetful. So that I forget that if I start the camera or not. could splice the footage, but it would be pretty awful. Also, you guys are drifting slightly. Up. Stay. Stay. I've heard there's a setup that you can get that connects us from the DSLR over, but adopting Herman was a fairly decent financial commitment that was fairly sudden, but it's fine. But also means that there was a sudden increase in expense that I wasn't expecting, but it's like worth it. So, plus I've been playing Warhammer, and that's a huge waste of money. But it's nice to get out. It really is. I think that's one mistake. I've been trying to like fix all the issues that I have with YouTube. And one of them is obsessing over it. Because at the end of the day, if I just like make good enough content, you guys will show up. And so I don't really need to do anything else. I don't need to appease the YouTube gods. I would love to see the sheet music for this. Well, I think that's what I've realized is that, like, so much of it was like, how can I push forward? How can I get through this? And how can I do this and that and the other? And it's just like, you know what? It's just about having a good time. I need to not stress about it. You know? I'm a content creator, not a YouTuber. Hey, Mafa. I'm surprised you're still awake, dude. It's late. Don't you have class? So, I don't know. My point is that it's worth doing things for no reason other than that I enjoy them. And it's worth doing that at the expense of, you know, stream, I guess? Not really stream, but just like whatever, because it actually isn't. It actually ends up improving my performance because I'm not as stressed out, you know? I'm avoiding, like, videos on, like, stuff just because it's like, I realize now that if I just spend my time, you know, if I spend time with my fiance and spend time with my cat and, you know, do things that have no real benefit to stream, it actually benefits stream, and I'm a happier person. Couldn't fall asleep yet? Alright. Well, this is probably a good stream to fall asleep to. It's kind of the... Oh. The footage cuts out after a bit. It assumes that you don't actually want to be recording for that long. Which is weird. Alright, cool. Alright, so I need to like come in and get the chin cleft there, but by and large part, things are coming together. A little bit funky here and there. Also, that blue still, it looks black. Even like in real life, it just looks the same. Oh, that was something I was going to talk about. I feel like I've had this discussion before, but I think maybe we celebrate like the 1 year anniversary of this by doing like a sale on like maybe I could sell some actual physical paintings on eBay or something. I'm thinking that may be the way to do it. I'll have to figure out exactly when I created this channel. Somewhere around October, maybe a little bit before. Something like that, anyway. We're rotating slowly again. It's because anytime I lean back, the cable pulls. The camera is actually taped on top of the other one. September 25th of 2017. I assume you were able to look in the... okay, there you go. That works. Everyone's got personal preference, so I think I like the blue tones as a valid critique. Not really art school, but I think it's fine enough. That made it sound like that was a put down. I was just trying to clarify for the people who go to art school and then they go, well, Rev said blue is saying you like blue is enough. I didn't want people to go to art school like that. One of the kids that I work with was talking about how they dropped out of art school and they were talking about how rough it was, and I'm just like, just sounds like art class. Like, yeah, you're expected to do better than you used to. I don't know where to sell art, like, regularly. And I also don't know for how much is the other problem. But by recording these, I actually have, like, a very, like, exact time limit on how long it takes to do pieces. And that's been an interesting bit of data. So, like, if I charge, like, I was telling the person who messaged me on Discord about it, and what I talked about yesterday was, what if I charge, like, supply cost plus minimum wage, and then have it as a bid? And then just whatever people give me beyond that, I can figure out what the hourly rate is. Try an auction? That's what I'm thinking. I think it's the only way that I can get a fair price. So I could do the math. I know I pulled it up a little bit on my phone. You're going through that one company when you had art piece site set up, yeah. Let's see. Well, I started messaging the art section of the Vinesauce Discord as well. The new website that I'm using, I get a better cut, and it ends up being... It's not as good of a cut as it could be, but it's consistent, and I don't have to worry about the back end and stuff like that. Like, Redbubble just takes care of it. It's not the best website, but it works for my current purposes. If this channel starts getting really big, then I can upgrade and do a little bit more, and that's fine. But, yeah. Okay. So let's see. On here I say I'm averaging 10 hours. That's not right at all. I think it's closer to 2 hours plus, and let's say that's minimum wage, and which in Texas is $7.25 an hour. Maybe add an extra 725 because sometimes it's a little bit longer than that. Just average a little bit high. No, let's average low because we'll have people pay me more if that's what I'm worth. And then I use like 3 or 4 colors, so I'd have to look up how much the paint is. I check. Cobalt blue. It's probably somewhere in the $5 region. And then canvas is probably about $4, $4 to $8, depending on how big it is. And then PayPal takes, and then we gotta multiply it times tax. PayPal takes 3% plus 30 cents. And then eBay takes 9%. So times 1.029 plus 1.09. It's eBay and then tax. Get somewhere in like the $30 region as the low ball. It's impossible to live on a $7.25 living wage or a minimum wage. There have been people trying to push the living wage thing here in Austin, but it's I don't get paid that through my job, but also my job doesn't question me too much. So I can, when they ask, oh, hey, can you cover my shift? And I just go, no. They deal with it because they're not paying me enough to have me really do anything but say no. Probably gonna get eventually fired for saying that, but, you know. If I just say it's 30 and tack on the extra little bit to make it 30, it's probably safe. It's really low though. I'd have a hard time selling my art for $30. I'd like to be making more than what I'm making at my job on a painting. So that way, if it started to be a thing, I could start, you know. So maybe charge, instead of minimum wage, like the amount that I get paid at my job, which is like $9.50, I want to say. I forget, something along those lines. A lot of it goes towards health insurance, but somewhere in that region. Not great health insurance, it's just good enough that I don't get penalized by the government for not having insurance. So that's good. Okay, that just needs to dry. I'm just going to even it out so that way it doesn't have ridges when I come back and do it. There's another divot there. I feel like my initial sketch is better than my current painting. How much do I pay for rent? Well, Austin has rent control, so because I've lived here for so long, they've only been able to raise the rent on me by about like $20 a year or something, some really low amount. So now it's actually starting to get into the range where it's like not where I can afford it, but luckily we're moving as soon as we get married, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Average rent in Austin is about $1,000, 800 to 1,000, 800 on the low end. And it's probably rat infested if it's 800. The places that we checked out to see if we could find someplace cheaper was in that range. Though we decided to stay here just because it's like, you know, it's a little bit, the management's a little bit sketchy and they're a little bit scummy, but like at the end of the day, like it's cheap and it's safe. So whatever, like I can afford it. And that's all that really matters. I'm getting close to being done, I think. I want this cheek to be a little bit lighter, though. There's a lot of fussing around with the same area for a bit. Yeah. Is 1,000 for 1 or 2 bedrooms? 1. Yeah. After utilities and everything, I'd say it's about 1,000. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. You've seen most of it by now. If you've ever watched any of my streams, you've probably seen a majority of it. My streaming area where we're sitting right now is essentially a hallway leading to the kitchen from the living room. The living room and the bedroom are essentially the same size, and the entire place is about, I don't know, it makes a C shape. With the bathroom being in the back of the C. And we're also kind of in the back of the C. It was fine when I was living by myself, when I was a bachelor, but with me and Tilda living here, it's a little bit cramped. But it's not too bad. I wouldn't suggest moving to Austin, I think is maybe the conclusion that we can make here. It's gotten to be too expensive, and a lot of the things that make Austin cool are starting to leave because it's just, the rent's too high. And so what they do is, like, especially at the downtown, they've, a shop that used to be cute and kitschy and, you know, interesting that, you know, someone would actually go to and be something that makes Austin Austin, has to close up because they can't afford the rent there anymore. And then a condo is built there, and that condo is so that way they can, whatever rich person comes in can go and see all of the cool kitschy things that make Austin Austin. And it's just like, I feel like somewhere along the lines someone didn't understand what was happening. The city's too compact. It's spread out, but it's simultaneously too compact for what it is. and there's too few roads to actually allow you to get around. So inevitably you get stuck in traffic, despite the fact that you're not trying to travel too far. Austin's becoming a big tech city. When I met the guys from Kronog, they asked if I had moved here, because their Kronog is stationed out of Austin. I went and had a dinner, lunch thing with them once at this nice little burger place downtown, which was outside my range, but inside theirs, so we ended up eating there. They're asking if I had moved here, because a bunch of streamers apparently live in Austin. Explicitly because it is Austin, and they moved here for that reason, which is not something that I was aware of. I just don't know any streamers that live in Austin. But yeah, I don't know why you would move here. I mean, Tilda moved here for me, but I stayed here, you know? I was born in Austin. I grew up in the Austin area, Round Rock, Hutto, that kind of thing. And then I think this needs to be in line with that, so it needs to terminate like there-ish. Just fussing around with his cheeks at this point. I'd say my biggest expense right now is rent, by a long shot. But I think that's normal. I think that's fairly normal, isn't it? That most of your paycheck goes towards rent and not, I don't know, food or gas. Gas is cheap. We got a nice little car. Very nondescript, safe, boring, good fuel efficiency. All that really matters, as far as I'm concerned, is that it gets me where I need to go without causing a whole bunch of trouble. And it does that, because I don't know how to fix cars. You've seen my summer car. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Austin has lost its, keep it weird kind of charm. Not yet, but it will. I guess it's a little preemptive to say that it's lost its charm as far as that goes, but it's a good car, and it has served us well for the past little bit. And when we move, we're probably going to drive it there, wherever we're moving. I don't know where yet. Me and Tilda have discussed Canada fairly seriously, just because it seems like it's nice. We're tired of the heat, is really what it comes down to. And her folks live up in upstate New York, so it's basically Canada. So she's used to that kind of weather. I'm not. I've only experienced actual winter once, and it was alright. I didn't mind it. Yeah, gas is super low. 267 sounds right. How late am I? Pretty late. We'll probably be wrapping up fairly soon. I didn't start this painting today. I started it about a month ago almost at this point. And that is too high. This actually needs to come in. Well, thank you. Oh, I expected to not be able to finish that song. Yeah, we're not listening to it again. We'll listen to Dewdrop Fantasy. You know what? Let's listen to Wisp of Worlds. It's a magical song. It was one of the first songs that it's actually the first song I downloaded from him and used fairly extensively on the first couple of videos. And then I started using Everything Will Be Okay and my own stuff. It's a good jam. It's nice and chill. Alright. That's his chin. It always looks like his mouth. You just made a music? That's awesome, man. Music's hard. See, this one doesn't really have, like, a melody. It's almost as if they took, like, an actual song and just, like, stretched out the measure, like, the first maybe quarter to eighth of the song, over, like, an hour. Well, thank you, Max. I'm glad. Not sure how much longer I'm going to be going, but you're welcome to chill for the little bit of time that we got left. Alright, so... mouths are so weird. They trip me up more than anything else. Like... I expect them to just exist and not cause problems. And yet, every single time they do. I'll fix that in a minute. I don't know even if you can see that or not, but it's the thing that I'm referring to. I'll fix that. Well, thank you for coming by. Is that looking right? I feel like it's looking right, but I need to get a little bit finer point with it. Camera ran out again. Says the card's full, but it's not. Give me a sec. We got about 16 minutes left of footage. So what I did was I ended up copying over some of the files, but not all of them. And that way I can like measure based on where the image is looking, whether or not I got the right one or not. So if I actually go and look at this, all right, 9236. And now, if I click this thing, you guys should be back at it. There we are. You're drifting, ever so slightly. Well, thank you, Rosetta. We got a couple minutes left of footage, so we're gonna try and make this work. Can you guys see? You can. You are floating away, though. Just stay there. Stay. I need to get a better setup than tape, I think. What makes this work is that there's a slight incline right here. And then it's white everywhere else. Why do I look like a vampire? Well, I'm obviously not one because you can see me on a camera. So, I don't know. I just do. Unless if that's lies made by the vampire media in order to trick you into thinking that that's how vampires work. So when you see one, it's not an issue. You're like, oh, well, he has a reflection, so he's not a vampire. Saying, wouldn't it be a very successful tactic to just convince everyone that that's how vampires work? Well, thank you, Chris. I've been trying to update it. I used Wix. I hope that I should try and get a sponsorship deal with them or something. I like them. I know how to use them. Have a good one, Malfa. Alright, so I feel like I need to remove all this black and replace it. And then we can go from there. Alright, now how do I fix that? Do we want this to be darker? I feel like I do. If I do that, can you guys even see? You can. I have no idea even what chat is anymore. I think someone just said that the Tooth Fairy would eat teeth if Gordon Ramsay fed them to them. Which just, I feel like I missed some sort of context. Sometimes it's best just to not have that context. And just accept that that's where chat's at right now for some reason. Okay, I feel like I'm fussing with this too much. I need to just go on to the areas that I know are definitely wrong, and then come back to this if I need to. As I continue to fuss with it. Did I lower my price point on prints? Yes. I don't remember by how much, but yes. And it's because Redbubble gives a better rate than trying to do them personally. Trying to print them personally and sending them out has a huge overhead that was just ending up, I had to pass on to you guys, and it was just not worth it. And you guys didn't like it, and I didn't like it, and the quality from the place that I was getting the prints done was not meeting my standards, so I just took the website down. So it's just like, no. This represents me and what I believe my art should look like, and you guys are not doing it right. So I just stopped doing business with them. Because it's just like, if you're not gonna do it right, then you don't deserve my business. Have I ever eaten a tooth? That's a take and a half. I don't think I have. Maybe a fragment of a tooth. I broke my tooth when I was a kid. One of my adult teeth. You don't even see it. I actually broke the front two on one side. And it's not even something that people notice unless if I point it out. But it was an ice storm in Austin, and I was climbing the garage, or the driveway up towards the garage, and ended up slipping and doing a face plant and breaking my teeth. Alright, good night, John. Thank you. I don't like how long his nose is, but I think it's okay. Now I gotta figure out how to do the rest of him. And I think the way to do that is to get burnt umber out, but that means getting out. And I believe we're almost out of film. So, this chat's super chill, and I think that's why it appears normal. I think I'm gonna probably do the last bit of it off stream, just because I'm gonna have to get up anyway. Stream Medic 1 is on there. I'm sorry, Max. Well, hopefully you like it. What was the inspiration for this piece? I've been doing a series on them, and it's mainly that I think mannequins are kind of creepy, and they're really interesting because, like, they're an interesting spot in between, like, I don't know, being human and not, and it's super weird and it freaks people out, and I love it. It's such a weird, they're weird looking. At the end of the day, that's what it is. They're weird looking, and they don't get offended if I paint them wrong, or if I say, oh, this nose is big enough, or what have you. Like, they're not going to get offended like a person would. If it was a person, they'd ask me to fix that nose. But I'm, like, kind of okay with how the nose looks. And so it's just like, okay, well, let's just say like that then. You know? If it was a real person, if it was an actual human being, they would be all, like, mad about it. And they'd probably be like, does my nose actually look like that? And I'd be like, nah. But I just think it's more aesthetically pleasing that way. And they might get mad. They might get weird about it. And, it doesn't have, like, a place or a time, either. It's just, like, a thing. What happens if we put it on white? Is that gonna work? That's not gonna work, is it? That's, like, too much white. It becomes too stark. What if we do, like, a gray? Just trying to come up with solutions that don't involve me getting up, because I'm lazy. It's not really that I'm lazy, it's just that, like, I'd actually have to, like, unplug everything. And I don't really want to do that right now. So, we're not gonna. So what about gray? Is gray gonna work? No. It's gotta have a little bit of blue in it, if that's gonna even be a thing. Which I don't think it's gonna be a thing. Well, let's pretend like it's gonna be a thing for a minute, and see how it goes. So it's like a cool gray rather than just like a mid-tone gray. Is that gonna work? This is what I was talking about in the color theory video to some degree. It's just like, I don't actively choose a lot of colors. I just sort of like do things and see if it works. And it's probably not like the smart way to do it or like the economical way of doing it, but like, I just make decisions and see if it looks good and go from there. I think it's gonna have to be like a burnt umber blue combination that gives us like a black that's a cool black rather than like a matte black. Matte black could be a name. I wonder where Tilda is. I think she's supposed to be home by now. It's worrisome. Contrasting color would be a good option as well. Go on the other side of the color wheel. It's technically an option. Maybe you should text her. I think she's just at work. Let me double check what time she's supposed to get off. Maybe she was getting off at 10 and not 8. And I totally screwed this up. Yeah, she's working till 10. That's why she's not home yet. Okay, cool. That's a crappy shift. Oh well. One of the places that she works, the place that she's working today, has kind of a sketchy parking lot. So I just get worried about her when she works there late. But she's just still at work, so it's fine. I'm not going to text her because I want her to be able to, like, you know, just do her job. Still recording. What if we try and do, like, a weird thing like this? We have the background kind of meet up with the design of the face itself, where it's got like a sharp angle going on. I hate doing edges. Like these edges. So boring. That powdery blue. Yeah, it's working out better than I thought. Get a little bit closer with it, but we'll go over that bit again probably in the interior. How does that look? Could we extend that any? I feel like we could do something similar down here and just have like a weird hexagonal shape of some other color. But I'm not sure what color. Should be another blue. What if we mix that gray with the ultramarine instead? Almost out of this blue, which is good. I'm trying to use up all my paint, so I'm just down to a little easier to manage when it's like that. Okay, is that the same? No, it's different. So we'll go. And that kind of balances out the weight of some of the other stuff that's going on. As if I like that color. It's more like lilac than anything else. I think the black I'm using, the Mars black, has like a little bit of red in it. So it comes out as a little bit more purpley, but that's okay. I mean, this is a fairly purpley kind of blue in the first place. So, is that looking forced? That looks a little bit forced. I think now we're actually out of film. Let me double check. Yeah. Alright, well, apparently that's where we're done today. Ran out of film, so I'm gonna have to transfer this stuff over, and we're almost out of battery, and I should probably let Herman out because he's been stuck for the last little bit. So I might extend this lilac up and around in this black area, or I might get rid of it entirely. I'm not really sure yet. I don't know. I'll think about it, is the main thing. Unmuting and undarkening the background looks forced and weird to you. Yeah, I'm gonna see how it looks after a little bit. Again, I might do like a burnt umber, ultramarine blue, black instead. But what if Kitty stream? No, I don't think we'll be doing that today. But anyway, sorry for the camera to just like go off and do its own thing. Do have that Patreon that supports this channel. I guess I should mention that. I always forget to. Link is down in the description if you want it. Patreon.com/RevScarecrow. This is the channel we're looking at, and I'll probably finish this one off screen because it's almost done anyway. But in the meantime, check out the other stuff, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.